So it's sentencing day in Michigan for the birthday party murder trial. Back in early March, a jury took less than 2 hours to find Marshella Chidester guilty on all counts, including 2 counts of second-degree murder. Prosecutors say she was intoxicated when she crashed into the Swan Boat Club last April, killing 8-year-old Alanah Phillips and her 4-year-old brother Zayn. Now, dozens more were injured, including the kid's brother and their mother, who also testified in the trial. She is now facing life in prison. So let's listen in to some of the victim impact statements, beginning with the children's mother, who was, again, seriously injured in the crash as well.
Easter this year was the 1-year death date from this tragedy, and I was not even able to celebrate Easter. Instead, I faced another heartache by going into Alanah's room that I have not seen in a year. Her room still smells like her. Her little dollhouse was still set up the same way when she was playing with it last. You do not know how it feels to tell your only living child that his siblings, his best friends, are gone. She is an evil and sick individual in my eyes. If Michigan offered the death penalty, I would highly recommend it for her. She is a danger to society, and I feel society would be a danger to her. I beg and I plead for her to be sentenced to life in prison with no parole.
What you took from me, I will never, ever get back. My daughter was trying to be just like me playing basketball. She just celebrated her 8th birthday. Zayn was about to be 5. Instead of celebrating his 5th birthday, we buried them. I thank you, Judge, from the bottom of my heart for letting me tell my statement. And I promise I don't wish nothing but the worst for you.
Some of the most difficult moments now, a little over a year later, after she claimed the lives of 2 young children. Marshella Chidester did give a statement ahead of her sentencing.
Right. I've been thinking about what I was going to say to you for over a year. It was a terrible, terrible tragedy. I can't help it. Saying so very, very sorry for the loss of your children. I prayed for them every day. And I would ask that their Father would also forgive me, as well as the people that were injured. I never meant to harm those children or everyone that was involved in the accident. And the only thing that I can say is, I'm so very sorry. And I never, ever meant to come across as not being sorrowful. I've asked the Lord to forgive me. And I ask that you at least look into your heart, and at some point, if you can possibly forgive me, I would appreciate that so much. I have a little verse that I want to read. It says, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercy never ends. And that comes from Lamentations 3:22. And I hope the Lord will show you some mercy and help you to get over your terrible tragedy, loss of your children. And I'm, again, so very sorry. And I pray every day for you and your family, as well as I do for the other people that were injured. I pray that they'll be able to recover and get back to their normal selves again. I'm sorry. That's really all I can say.
Thank you. In this matter, the sentencing guidelines on count 1 and 2, which is the second-degree murder charges, the sentencing guidelines are 225 months to 375 months. On counts 3 and 4, which is operating while intoxicated causing death, the sentencing guidelines are 43 months to 86 months. On counts 5 through 9, operating while intoxicated causing serious injury, the sentencing guidelines are 12 to 24. The defendant has no prior criminal record. This historic courtroom has handled cases for more than 100 years, probably a lot more than that. Many of those cases are tragic and heartbreaking. I've presided over several of those myself. This might be the most tragic and most heartbreaking case that this courtroom has ever seen. 2 small children were killed. 5 others, including 2 other children, were seriously hurt. But more than that, this crime destroyed lives, it destroyed families, and it changed so many people in a very negative way. This has impacted the community in such a way that they're never, ever going to forget what happened on that day. I heard the testimony. I believe the jury got it right. The evidence of this defendant's guilt was overwhelming. The defendant took her prescribed medicine, gabapentin, and had a glass of wine at lunch. That was what was being proposed. She doesn't remember anything else. I didn't believe that. I don't think the jury believed that. Perhaps that's how you get away from the horror of such a thing, is just say, I don't remember what happened. But for me and for the court, the evidence is what we consider. The defendant said she rated herself a 7 on a 1 to 10 scale, with 10 being total blackout drunk. She indicated that she knew it was okay that she didn't drive. Her blood alcohol was 0.18 grams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood, and as I said, she had gabapentin in her system. She has no record. Excuse me. She's educated and she had a fine career. She was in the service. I don't take these matters lightly, and I do take them into account. The defendant's sentencing memorandum had a number of letters supporting the defendant, attesting to her character and their interactions with her. I believe them. I think they were heartfelt. I think they were genuine. Only one, however, mentioned alcohol. When I reviewed the 309 screening, which is an alcohol screening attached to the sentencing, the defendant denies a drinking problem and is not interested in any substance abuse counseling. She's well within her rights to maintain her innocence and, I guess by extension, her sobriety. But I'm just looking at the evidence that came in at trial. At 9 a.m. on the day this crime happened, the defendant was at the Fermi 3 Party store purchasing a 4-pack of wine and a large bottle of wine. 9 a.m. Circumstantial evidence shows that she was drinking at the home that day before heading to the boat club. Hours later, she still had a 0.18 blood alcohol. This wasn't just an accident, it was a crime. It could have been avoided. It's not against the law to drink, but it's against the law to drink and drive. The defendant lived so very close to this boat club, she could have simply walked down there. After getting in the vehicle, backing into the neighbor's car, forcing it through a fence, she then placed her vehicle in drive, speeding off towards the boat club, reaching 44 miles an hour. This is where a person would stop and say, hey, wait a second, I shouldn't be driving. I'm in no shape to drive. But she didn't do that. She made a conscious decision to shift the vehicle from reverse to drive and race to the boat club. This was a wanton and willful disregard of the likelihood that the natural tendency of this would be death or great bodily harm. For all those reasons, I find the following to be a reasonable and proportionate sentence. On counts 5 through 9, which were the operating under the influence causing serious injury, you're to serve 24 months to 60 months, Michigan Department of Corrections, credit 76 days. 340 state costs, $1,595 in restitution to Diane Medina as a condition of parole. On counts 3 and 4, which are the operating under the influence and causing death, you're to serve 84 months to 180 months, Michigan Department of Corrections, credit 76 days, 136 state costs. On counts 1 and 2, which are the second-degree murder charges, you're to serve 25 years to 50 years, Michigan Department of...
All right, so ultimately they ran concurrent. The judge sentenced her to 25 to 50 years in prison. Again, she's 67 years old. That means she wouldn't be eligible till she was about 92. It's essentially a life sentence. Let's bring back in our guest, joining us still, domestic violence expert and former law enforcement officer, Claudia King. Claudia, just quickly, I want to get your reaction to the decision. I mean, the judge laid it out pretty clearly, gave her some credit for a life that seemed well-lived, right? She served, she was in the service, had no prior record, but man, he dinged her for those choices she made that day. And also, it seemed to ding her for the fact that she's not accepting the fact that she's got a problem.
Absolutely, and this would have been the time for her really to just lay it all out there and admit that she has an issue. And I totally agree with what the judge said, that when she backed into the neighbor's car initially, like that was her opportunity, whether it was a drunk driving incident or a seizure, to say, something's wrong with me, I shouldn't be driving. So anything after that, absolutely she's culpable.
Yeah. It seemed as though throughout the trial and even leading up to the trial, I want to take a look at some of the body cam. She felt that it was more of an accident. He mentioned this, more than a crime. Let's take a quick look at some of the body cam when the cops came up to her after this incident and listen to what she has to say.
Do you remember what happened when you were going around here?
No, not really. I pulled into the parking lot and I thought I was driving up to the boat club, and evidently I was driving right to the podium.
Which direction did you drive?
I live right down the street.
Okay, so you were coming from that way?
Yes.
This way? When you got to the parking lot, what happened?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you think there's a reason you don't remember? Did something happen, or?
You know what? I have these seizures, and
Okay.
Buying that, Claudia, the fact that she doesn't remember, or maybe she doesn't, but it wasn't because of seizures.
Absolutely. I think she remembers, or, you know, maybe it was the alcohol, but even in that video, you know, she's so nonchalant about it, and people are dead. So it's just really unconscionable.
You gotta wonder how much she actually knows. She seems so nonchalant about the whole thing. She can't know that she killed 2 children and injured 4 and 5 others and adults as well.
I would hope not, but remember, we saw her sitting in the chair in the boat club right after, and again, she seemed very nonchalant there as well. So it's very odd, very confusing. I can understand why everyone's so upset and doesn't want to forgive her at this point.
Final question, a couple seconds left. What did you make of her statement to the court? She asked for forgiveness. Didn't seem like forgiveness was coming anytime soon.
It doesn't, and the cliche is, you know, forgiveness isn't for the person you're forgiving, it's for yourself. So I do hope that those parents can find forgiveness in their heart so that they can get comfort and move on with their lives the best they can.
Exactly. It's not about her. It's about that family themselves. Claudia, thank you so much again for being with me here in studio.